Hi, welcome to Empty Nest Creations. Today we're going to be painting this little round table. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see the feet. It's got really cute little feet on it. And it's just a simple little side table, or it could even be used as a plant stand. Today we're going to be using Country Chic Paints to paint this table. I'm using this color, which is Lazy Linen. It's a really light gray. And so we're going to be using this today. I've got just a simple paintbrush that's used for chalk paint. And I'm not planning on distressing this at all, but because it will get a lot of use as a side table, we're going to use a natural wax to finish it at the end. So the paint that I have is one of the 4-ounce paints. This is a sample size, and we're going to see if we can paint this entire table with just this sample size of paint. This is a chalk-based paint with low VOCs, so it's safe for you to use inside your house. It doesn't put off any fumes or chemicals into the environment, so it's good for the environment. It's good for you. You can use it on children's furniture or children's toys, so this could even go in a nursery beside the rocking chair to hold a little lamp, or whatever you need. So this would be great for that. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to give it a little shake to just mix it up. This one is a brand new container, never used it before. So I'm just going to mix it up to get all the pigments mixed in really well. Okay. Before I get too far into this, let me grab a piece of paper to put on the table to protect my surface. Okay, because this is chalk paint, it does clean up pretty easily. So if you were to get some on your table or on your floor, it cleans up with water. So you can use some soap and water on a rag and it'll come right up. If you allow it to cure for several days, it may not come up as easily. So clean up any spills or drips as soon as you can. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start down here at the feet. So I'm going to lower the camera so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Now you can see the bottom here. And when I'm doing a rounded surface, I want to go around instead of trying to go up and down. Just makes it easier to get the paint into all the nooks and crannies. And you just want to take your time, make sure that you're getting all around the leg. Nice smooth coat so you don't get any drips. Like I said, I'm not intending to distress this piece when I'm done. So, I want to make sure that there's no drips as I go so that I don't have to do any sanding when I'm done. Okay, I'm going to paint the base as well. So I'm just going to do that while I've got it upside down. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this back part of these legs. While I'm down here. So this is something that I picked up at a thrift store. I only paid like $5 for it. It was a really good deal. And these little tables like this are great, especially if you've got small spaces. So like I said, this would be great in a nursery. It would also be great in a bedroom you know, just as a nightstand. If you have a small apartment, then you're always wanting to find things that are small, that don't take up a lot of space, but that, you know, are useful for your home. And so when I'm out at flea markets, I'm always looking for things that I can flip. I do have a booth. Actually, I have 2 booths at flea markets now, and so I'm always looking for pieces that I can, you know, flip quickly, bring them, you know, more into today's style, so that they don't end up in the landfill, and, you know, they're still getting use. Okay, so I'm going to continue to paint these legs. Let me know in the comments if you are a thrifter. One of my favorite pastimes is to walk through thrift stores, walk through antique stores. It's just like, you know, a trip down memory lane. You know, things that my grandparents had, or, you know, that were in homes of my friends or other family members as I was growing up. It's amazing the things that you can find in a thrift store or antique store. So let me know in the comments below if you do any thrifting. I also am known to pick things up off the side of the road. So if I see things that someone's thrown out, whether it's a picture frame or a piece of furniture, wood, I always pick up pieces of wood that people are throwing away. Especially now, wood prices have really kind of skyrocketed. So I definitely, you know, want to pick up anything that's still usable. And there's lots of things that you can do with little scrap pieces of wood. So I always pick that kind of stuff up. Lamps. Pretty much anything. I stopped at one place because I saw this really cool bottle in their trash. And so I pulled it out, brought it home, painted it up with some texturized paint, and it turned out really pretty. So I even have my husband and my son now, they'll pick up things off the side of the road and bring them home. My son brought me a really cute desk the other day, so I'll be refinishing that pretty soon. Hopefully I'll be able to share that with you as well. So I'm just continuing now up the middle post of this table. And I'm just going around. Move the camera up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So again, this is a round surface. So I'm just going side to side to make sure that I get all those little curves and nooks and crannies painted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this first coat. Because this is a lighter paint, it is definitely going to need a second coat. So I will let it dry for a little while, and then we'll come back and do the second coat. Okay, so I've got the first coat on, and you may be able to see it's really streaky. That's normal. Sometimes when we put the first coat on, it looks so bad and we think, oh my goodness, I've ruined this piece. But when we put the second coat on, it's going to look so much better. So don't panic if it looks streaky and like a real mess when you first do that first coat. It's going to look like that. I'm going to let this sit for a little while, and really dry good. Because it is where you can just trust it with water, it's water based. So if you quickly put a second coat on, then it reactivates the paint and you're going to be taking it off as much as putting on. So you really want to let it sit for an hour or so. Let that first coat get good and dry, and then you're going to do the second coat. And we'll talk more about that when we get to it, but you still want to be really careful because adding wet paint to dry paint can still reactivate it and take it off. So when we do the second coat, we want to brush over a spot once, and don't keep going over and over and over it, because that's going to pull the paint back off. So we're going to let this dry. I did want to show you that I barely used any of this paint. So we'll look at again at the end of the second coat, but I think you could probably do, 3 or maybe even 4 small pieces like this with one of these 4-ounce paints. This is actually the sample size, so it's really a great way to try out a bunch of different colors and see which colors you really like. These 4-ounce containers are $9.95. I am selling these locally at J&G's flea market, so you can pick up this paint there. But like I said, this is a great way to try it out and see if you really like this kind of paint before you buy the bigger containers. And if you're not going to be painting a lot of pieces, you're only going to do a couple of small pieces, then these little 4-ounce size would be great for that. So we're going to let this dry, and I'll come back and show you when we get started on the second coat. Okay, so now the first coat is dry, so we're going to start on the second coat. But with this coat, I'm going to use my spray bottle and add a little bit of water. This helps the paint to go on really smooth for this second coat. So I'll dip my brush in the paint, and then I'm just going to put a little spray of water on here, and this is going to help it to go on a lot smoother. So bring it in closer so now you can see how good that's covering. Here's the first coat, and there's the second coat. It's covering really well. Okay, so the second coat is finished. I just want to show you up close what it looks like. It covered really well. And so now we'll let this dry overnight, give it a chance to really dry well, and then we'll put the wax on. Okay, so the paint's dry. I've given it 2 days to dry so that the paint has had time to cure. And now we're going to use the wax. So I've just got the natural wax here. And I'm going to use a brush. This is just a simple brush that I got at Walmart. It's got a rounded top, and the bristles are all flat. That makes it perfect for applying the wax. So I'm just going to swirl into the wax and then just begin applying the wax to the piece. And it's hard to see on camera. Right there you can see where it's shiny, that's where the wax is, and you just want to continue to apply the wax. And you just want to make sure that you're covering the entire surface with the wax. Okay, so the whole top surface has the wax on it. Now I'm just going to take a lint-free cloth, and this is just a microfiber cloth, and I'm just going to rub it over the top. Okay, so now the top is waxed, and we'll let this sit after I've waxed the whole thing. You'll let it sit for a day or two, and the wax will harden up, and then it will be a nice smooth surface. I'm going to go ahead and wax the rest of it, and I'll bring you back to show you what it looks like when it's waxed. It does change the color just a tad, but as it dries and hardens, it'll go back to what this color is. Okay, so the entire piece has been waxed. And remember, when you're waxing spindles or legs, if you'll go side to side, it's much easier than trying to go up and down. And going side to side keeps it from building up in the recesses. You definitely want to have the wax in those recessed sections, but you don't want it to build up. And again, once you've waxed the piece, you're just going to take a cloth that's lint-free and just kind of buff over it to make sure that it's all nice and smooth. The wax will be kind of sticky right after you apply it, and then over time, over a couple of days, it will harden and give you a nice, safe surface. You could go ahead and use the piece while you're waiting for it to harden, but you just want to be cautious about cleaning it with any chemicals or anything like that. So that is the finished piece. We used just barely a quarter of this lazy linen paint, and then we just used a very small bit of the natural wax. There's no real odor to this, so it's safe to use inside your home. Wax is one option for your finish on this, and if you are going to use wax, you want to make sure that you do that last. So if you were going to distress the piece, you would do that before you wax. If you're going to put any stenciling or decals on, you want to do that before you wax, because wax can work as a repellent and keep new paint from actually bonding to the surface. Okay, so wax would be your final step. The other option for finishing is using a clear coat, and we do offer that. Let's go for it. So this is the clear coat, and it's super easy to apply. You just brush it on and then let it dry. And so if you were going to like do a tabletop for like a dining room table or a kitchen table, it was going to get a lot of use and a lot of cleaning, then I would definitely recommend the liquid clear coat, and doing a couple of coats of that. Since this is just a little side table, The wax is going to be fine. If I did clear coat, I would just probably do one coat, because this isn't something that's going to be eaten off of and be cleaned with, you know, cleaning products. So if you're going to do a table that's going to be used a lot, you want to do that. Other pieces that you paint with the Country Chic Paint, if it's something that's decor, like something that's going to hang on the wall or sit on a shelf, you don't necessarily have to put a wax or a clear coat on it. You can just paint it and put it on your shelf. If it's not going to be handled and cleaned often, then it really doesn't need any kind of protective coating. But we do have the option of clear coat and the wax finishes. Now today we use the natural wax. There's also an antiquing wax that you can use that would, you know, age it a little more. So I'm going to let this cure, and then I will show you how to use it in your home. If you would like to purchase any of these products, they are available at J&G's Flea and Antique Mall in Prattville, Alabama. I am currently not selling them for shipment, but that may be something that we do in the future. If you are interested in that, let me know, because if there's enough interest, then I will go ahead and set it up to be shipped. All right, thank you for giving me some of your time. Remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.